What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be working on my steering wheel column on my 85 C10. Those trucks are known for the steering wheel to have a lot of play in them over time because they're old. So this is my first time doing it. You guys bear with me. Hopefully it's easy. It might be hard, I don't know. I'm going to take it step by step, line up all the parts I take out so that way I remember which way they go. So it is going to be a long video, and there is going to be a part 2 to this video. So you guys make sure you stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, help me out, and hit that notification bell. So that being said, let's get it. Alright guys, hopefully I got a good angle. See what we got here. Alright, that just snaps right out. Set that over here. There's like a little lock. Alright guys, so this thing has like a lock ring. So I gotta grab pliers, open that up and remove it. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this, but I grabbed me a long nose plier. They got other pliers you can use for this, but this is all I got. So it should work. Just put in here and try to open it, but I'm holding the camera, so it's gonna be a little hard. And that's all she wrote. Got it out. I'm gonna set it up here so I don't forget where I left it at. So sit right there. And then you got these 3 bolts right here, and those take like a hex type of deal. It's a T20. Now that I got all 3 bolts loosened out, pull this out. Just leave it just like that. Hopefully there's nothing else. Alright, so I'm going to set it up here. It looked like you guys hear that? Gotta disconnect the battery. So that goes in like that. So I'm gonna put this next to this right there, and I'm gonna disconnect the battery before I go any further. Alright, I got the battery disconnected. I have to remove this nut. It's gonna be I have a 13/16 socket. I believe it's a 20 millimeter, but this is all I got, so that's what I'm gonna use. There we go. Alright, so that's that. Put it next to the other parts. Now I gotta use the steering wheel puller and get this steering wheel removed. So far so good. So now that I got the pulley installed, I kept checking here, make sure the threads were even, so that way when it starts pulling this out, it pulls it out evenly. And then for this socket I'm using is 14 millimeter. All right. Alright, so I gotta remove this cover here. That's where this little thing come in place. Gotta use that. Gotta use this tool I bought. Gotta push this cover in order for me to get to that little ring in the back. There's a ring right here. So once this is pushed all the way in with that tool, I should be able to remove that ring, and that should take this cover off. Set that right there. Screw that in. Start turning that in so that way it starts pushing this down. Let's see if we can get that ring out. Just to show you guys, this ring is being a little pain in the ass. Got a little gap right here, so that way you can spread this ring open and then slide it out, but it's a little difficult to do that. So I'm gonna keep trying. Alright, before I remove this, see this little ring has a little gap, so I was trying to opening it, and when I opened it, this end was moving over, so where I can use my long nose and grab it from the back side, and then push it up enough to get it over, and then I did it all the way around. That's how I got this ring. It's still a pain in the butt. So I'm gonna set this ring back with the other parts, and I think slide this out. Okay, and you take this part out. All right. Oh man, it's getting more intense here. All right, so now what we got here is gotta use a Phillips screwdriver. Got one screw right there. That's 2 screws, 3, and 4 in the back. I should be able to take these off, and the bolts that hold the steering should be in the back here somewhere. So I gotta remove this part right here and go from there. Alright guys, for this back screw, you see it looks like you can't get to it. All you gotta do is move it down like that and you should be able to get it. Alright, so that's loose. Take the screw out. Now I gotta figure out how to take this part out. Alright, so I gotta remove this. There's a screw in here that I gotta remove. It's a Phillips head. So I gotta remove this out in order for this to come out. Just make sure you don't lose that screw. Look, I'm doing it one-handed, so hopefully I don't lose this thing. I have to put the camera down, but we'll see. Oh, there you go, guys. Has a spring on there too, so don't lose that. Find a spot for it. Alright, now that that's gone, you can remove this spring. Got where your hazard blinker thing goes, you got to push that in so that way you can slide that over. You see that? So now I gotta move this out the way so I can pull this out. Alright guys, so I got this thing I need to move out the way. Has like a little pin here that goes into a hole in there. So now I have to figure out where it goes after when I put it back. I'm gonna have to use my light. But yeah, you gotta take this out. So it goes back here somewhere. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I have to figure that out when I put it back together. Alright, now we got that out the way. Now we gotta pull this out. Push this side blinker thing in. And then slide it out slowly. Make sure you don't lose your screws. Don't pull too hard because there's wires connected in the back. Just be real careful. Oh, something fell off. Okay, it's one of the screws. Got scared there for a minute. I know there's one more somewhere in here. There it is. So I'm thinking these bolts right here has got 1, 2, 3 bolts. I'm gonna see if they're loose, and hopefully that was it, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go in farther. But I'm gonna try, see what happens. Alright, so I already tightened these up. It didn't do nothing. They're nice and tight, and it still moves. So I'm gonna remove these screws down here, remove this cover, and remove this other cover here so I can get to disconnect some wires so I can actually pull this out a little more. And then I'll probably have to take this off, which I'm gonna do right now. Unscrew this off. That's simple. That part is that simple. And then the process that I was removing this that broke off. That's for my blinkers, or could be for the wipers. But yeah, rip right off. It didn't even take much. I wasn't even messing with this area. Let's get these off. Phillips head. Let me see. It's not these right here. It's this one right here. I have to unplug this off, and it should give me a little bit of wiggle room to pull this back a little more, so I don't mess up the wires. It has like a clip right here. You have to pop up, and it should come out. Well, it gave me a little bit of play right here, so I think what I'm gonna do next is, well, actually I took this little ring, it goes in here, it covers the it looked like a bearing, but I'm gonna get these 3 bolts out and then take this little clip thing off. Take this off. I don't know what the hell that was. I guess this little clip comes with it too. And then I'm gonna remove this little screw right here, which holds the ignition key. That should come right out, so I can see if I can get this cover off enough to see what's behind this. Maybe there's another bolt back there to tighten up this steering column, because it still got some play. Even though I tightened up these bolts, they weren't that loose at all, but it's still moving. So I'm gonna get these off, get the ignition switch off out of here, and see what else I can do. Alright, let's get these screws out. Using this T4, and it's working, so that's all I got. All right, for this little screw back here for the ignition switch, that one's a T20. Hope you guys can see that. and that should come right out just like that. I'm gonna set this down here. I have to figure out how to remove this completely without damaging anything else. Alright, so I also got this cover right here. Should slide off. There we go, just like that. Taking this off. Set it up here. Let's see what else we got going on. Alright guys, this is what I did find. The see this right here? That's from the bearing for the steering wheel. I think that's causing my, it's gotta be causing, look at this. The fucking little balls are falling off. So I think that's my problem, is this bearing that need to be replaced. That should take care of the wobble, because look at that. It's not even, I think that's my problem, is these right here, the bearing. I'm gonna get this off and buy a new bearing and install it in there, see if it makes a difference. Alright guys, well, besides the steering wheel bearing being bad, I need to buy a tool. It goes in here. It's called that's a pivot pin. So they got this pivot pin tool that I need to buy. And Advanced Auto Parts website say they have it in stock. So you got two pivot pins, one on the left side and the other one's on the right hand side, right here. So I need to go buy that tool in order for me to take this part off, so I can get to the 4 bolts that sit in the back, which holds the tilt. So once I get those 4 bolts tying up, the steering wheel should be nice and stiff, and then especially with a brand new bearing. Alright guys, so this is what the part looks like on my phone. I don't know if you can see that clear or not, but I need to get that tool from O'Reilly's, or even if they don't have it, I'll probably go to AutoZone. They might have it too. So yeah, let me get that part and then start removing everything out. But I have to figure out how to take this all the way out too, just to get it out the way, because I still gotta get this spring wire thing unbolted down here, get that out the way, and go from there. Take it one step at a time. Alright guys, so you gotta make sure you disconnect. You can see this, disconnected this one right here runs to the steering wheel. So make sure this is off, and you push this in as far as you can, and then you start pulling this back towards you. But I'll recommend for you to pull the tilt down. That'll give you more room for you to, I don't know if you see in here, you see this little slot right here? That is gonna go right through that slot. That's going to give you the space for you to remove this. So when you're pulling this out, make sure your tilt is all the way down, like so, and it'll go through this little slot that will allow you to take it all the way out, like I did. And then you can raise it back up, and that's it for that. And then you got to remove this right here, which I'm using a flat screwdriver. Make sure your tilt is all the way up. If it's down, I believe you can't, it's harder to remove it, so you got to push in and then counterclockwise. It should come out like that. Make sure you don't let it go because it has a spring in it. Okay, once you get that out, you counterclockwise, and then when you lock it back in, you're gonna put it in. You're gonna clockwise. You're gonna turn it clockwise to lock it in. Make sure you push in, and then you remove this spring. See, the grease on it is real nasty, so I'll probably clean this up and put new grease on this. So you see that end of that spring that goes in first, because that's got a, let's see if you're able to see. Can't see it, or maybe you can see it right here. This right there, there's a pin that the spring goes in there. So yeah guys, that's where the spring sits, the bottom of it, that little pin right there, that's where it goes. And then, like I said, I have to go get these parts to finish this off. Put the bearing on this, and I still gotta buy the tool for the pivot pins. Those gotta come off in order for me to remove this off. But I still gotta get this little bolt off and unhook this little spring, get it out the way. And then as for my blinker goes, I showed you guys already the wires. This is so brittle, I can feel it cracking when I'm moving it. So this is pretty old, so I'm gonna have to replace the blinker, which is the part of the cruise control. So I believe this one you can just snap it right off. So I just buy a new blinker, and I'm gonna leave this here, this wire, so when I get the new blinker that comes with a new wire, I'll either tie it down with this so I can pull this down, so that way I can drag it all the way through the steering wheel column, and then I can plug it in where it's supposed to be plugged in on the bottom. So I'm gonna see if I can get this blinker thing off, since I'm gonna have to buy a new one anyways, because I won't be able to solder this. That's impossible. So let me get this off and go to AutoZone, O'Reilly's, and see if I can find my parts, and then I'll start cleaning everything up and greasing it so it looks good, and go from there. We'll see if this works. Supposedly you can pop this out. See that working. I guess you can. Alright guys, so I'm going to show a little close-up of what I'm talking about on this blinker switch. You see that little key thing right there? It has the same, has a slot on the on this switch right here. Let me see if I can get it right there. I don't know if you can see it. Here, let me turn the light on, see if I can get it to it. Like a little key thing. It'll slide right in there, so there's no way you can put it in wrong. You can just snap it back in there and then run your wire back through here, like I was saying. And then still got to take this off. It's right here. And then I gotta clean all that extra grease, old grease, all that stuff. Alright guys, so I'm gonna remove this little spring thing. So this little bolt here, I'm using a 1/4 socket. I don't know if you can see that it has two. One goes inside this little black plastic thing. That goes like for the gears. Goes right in there, and then the other one is hooked up probably through the bottom. Gotta push it back, see if you can get it unhooked. And it's unhooked. So you see this little hook right there goes in just like this. So it's gonna go through the back. Let me remove this if I can. I'll just leave it in there. So yeah, just like that, goes in like this. Hooks up to the bottom, move it over. This side over here, we can see a little loop on it. It goes inside here, and then the bottom part goes under the little screw that I took off. So just to be on the safe side, I'm just gonna hook it back in here to the bottom. And just leave it hang to the side, so either way I know that it goes right here. Just the same way that it's, I'm just gonna move it over and when I install it back together. Alright guys, so let me get a closer look so I can explain what I was talking about. You see this thing right here? Right here, that's where the little hook goes through the back of it, so it doesn't go anywhere. And then the other one that had the loop goes inside this black one right here, and then it goes down to this bolt. So this right here is gonna go in the back of this one right here. That's why I don't want to lose this, so I just put it back on the bolt, let it hang there for now. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys a little close-up. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and don't forget there's a part 2 to this video coming soon, so stay tuned, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one.